Welcome back, everyone, and welcome if you're a first-time practitioner with us. And this is WeAwake, and this is our thing where we get together with the WeAwake team and anybody who wants to all over the world to practice together, listening to the tracks that we developed that entrain the brain to deep meditative states. And today we are going deep. And we're listening to two tracks. It's 40-minute meditation, and it's track 1 and 2 of Epsilon, which is a part of the Profound Meditation Program 3.0. But why this is important? Epsilon is the lowest brainwave that we use, and any lower than Epsilon, you're basically flatlining. Okay, so it's very powerful and very low, and it's a wonderful brainwave enhancer of deep meditative states. And what I've been experiencing, I just finished an online vision quest with you who were there with me, is I've just seemed to be going through a period of accelerated growth and flow and inspiration. So I don't know if that's just me, or there's something bigger going on in the cosmos and the stars are aligning, however that stuff works. I'm not sure, but hopefully we'll come together and do just that, because yeah, we're going to have to grow our way out of all the issues that confront us as a human species. So let's do this work together, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome. Welcome here. Um, I don't know whose idea it was to do 2 epsilon tracks back to back, but it's a pretty good idea. Good stuff. You know, I'm in the book that I wrote, Integral Recovery. It's coming out in a audio version shortly. Anyway, we're working on that, and they allowed me to add another chapter. Wow, that's great. Okay, and he did. We wrote it, and one of the things that we talk about is kind of the 4 pillars of the temple, and this integral waking up and showing up and growing up and cleaning up these things is the waking up part. And of course, our name of our company is WeAwake. I Awake, actually. The thing we're doing now is called WeAwake, but it's about awakening for sure. And so what is the, what does that mean? And it's kind of become clear that it means, well, there's 2 sides of this. There's the more Eastern Buddhist side of awakening, where you're waking up to pure emptiness, the pure mystery of being that has no form, has no content, but from which all form is birthed and born moment to moment. Okay. And when we go into deep meditative states, we can through dumb luck or through the practice or through grace or however that works, we can achieve those states. And with that connection with profound emptiness, our ground of being, there's different ways to say this, Godhead, Spirit. It's a very, very beautiful, life-affirming mystery that's very hard to describe, but it's really good. And it's not an existential void or emptiness or something to be terrified of. It's very, very good. So that's the one side of waking up, which is necessary. The other side, we can maybe come from more of our Western traditions, and that's the waking up the individual soul. You are both, you're a wavical, as we talk about in quantum mechanics and quantum theory, that they found that by observing these entities, these subatomic things, that depending how you looked at them, they either were a wave that extended into infinity, or they were a discrete entity or particle, they called them, which are all very kind of materialistic words. Anyway, that's as good as it came up with. So that's very much the way it is in our spirituality. We are the eternal wave. We are all things, all times, everything. That's the ground of beingness that we find within ourselves. And in the old Vedic, from the I guess pre-Hindu ancient sages of Indian subcontinent, they said that Atman is Brahman and Brahman is Atman. Okay. The deep Atman being the deepest part of yourself, which is also breath in German, which I find interesting. But the deepest part of yourself is none other than Brahman, the creator of all universes, the ultimate God, if you will. And that's inside of you, and that's who you are at the deepest level, which is a heck of a thing. So, but in discovering our original face, right? The old koan, what was your original face before your mom and dad were born? And we've upgraded that in the last few decades. Is what was your original face before the Big Bang? Because we've traced back. We think we trace back the beginning of all things about 13.7 billion years ago, where there was this infinitude of nothingness, and then whoa, it just the whole universe with billions of galaxies, God knows what was all began to be formed and all emerged in a relatively short time, 13.7 billion years ago. I mean, that is conceivable. You know, you can think of that as a finite number. It's not forever. So that happened. So what was your original face? Well, your original face is what you find in the deepest part of yourself when we're in deep transformative meditation. That wellspring of everything, that everything emerged from, is none other than what we encounter there. That's perfect. On the other hand, we have to figure out, you know, who be me, you know, in this dance, in this universal mystery of creation. You know, why does something exist rather than nothing? You know, that's a great question. Sit with that one for a while. But we do. Here we are. And we all have our individual manifestation. And that little individual thing is really important. It's not just nothing. It's God. Okay. You're a little part of it, which is it's like a hologram. You know, I don't know if you guys know holograms, but it gives us a kind of a physical way to understand the mystery of these things that we talk about. So you have a 3D image that light is projected to this thing, and it splits it up and say, I'm the 3D image. And you guys probably know this, but it's good to go over it once in a while. Then you just take a tiny piece of me from the holographic negative, I guess, and you shine light through it again, and it recreates the whole. So the whole image is there in every tiny part, and it recreates the whole. So we can say that that's our little self, but inside that we contain the whole thing is there in us. And as we discover that, we discover the all. But then it raises a question, well, what am I supposed to do with that? And how am I supposed to play this out? And is there some individual mission or karma or vocation or calling that I'm working out through this life, through lifetimes perhaps? And what is that? And when we wake up to that, and we wake up to the source of wisdom within us, seems to be there, that connects us to this all, that's really a pretty complete awakening. Okay. So one is emptiness, if you will, ground of beingness. And the other is the manifestation of that emptiness in you, in your soul, and in the deepest part of you. And when we find that, that's where we are able to bring this infinite with the finite together. And it is, when you get down to it, as Nagarjuna taught us in the 5th century AD, I believe it was, he said, emptiness is form and form is emptiness. So even your little miraculous little individual thing, and all of you that we love to connect with and bounce, it's all that reflected back in a holographic universe. So we find both sides of the street. I know that's kind of complicated, but you know, if you look around, life is kind of complicated. You know, try to fix everything with a hammer. It doesn't work. We need a lot of tools to get this thing figured out. So that's what we're waking up to. And some of the work that we've been doing recently with the vision questing is finding our purpose, finding what we're here for, discovering what our soul, vocation, and calling is. And then when we find that out, how do we walk that path? How do we become worthy of it? How do we make sure that this instrument is in good a shape as possible? And I think that our practices they're a form of spiritual sacrifice. It's what we give back to higher power, to big mind, to the big God, if you will, in order to just intention our seriousness and our kind of heroic desire to do the right things with our lives. And that comes on developmentally when we just get sick of not doing it. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that we have to go through, and a lot of games we have to play, and a lot of pleasures, and a lot of pain, a lot of sufferings, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of successes, and all of these things. So at a certain point, is not quite enough, and we look for that deeper. What is my relationship to the universe? What am I here to do? And I need to become an instrument for that. So waking up to your individual miraculous self and your vocation and the part of you that is everything all at the same time. So that's what we're waking up to. And if you guys figure out a more simple, a more understandable, perhaps way of describing that, I would love to hear it. But anyway, it is a story in process. It is a symphony that we are working on, and we're all playing our parts. So the job is to recognize that we are the symphony, and we are the director, and we are also the flute player up in the third row. So help us to play our little flute well, and realize that at the same time we are a part of it all and we experience it all. So I think it's probably enough for today, but thank you for being here. And today again we did, I guess it's the last couple of tracks of Profound Meditation 3.0. If you guys are interested, download the app. Everything that you can get is there. And these were the epsilon tracks, very low there. And anyway, as we experience today, they're very powerful, and they entrain our brains into very deep places. So I hope you're all coming through this period of real challenge, and we're starting to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're starting to feel better, and we're starting to get into our zone of creativity and giving back, if that's where you're at. And it would be my hope that you are. So let's keep showing up together, and we'll have another track for us to experience together. And let us know if how we can help, or what your experience is. And I guess you're supposed to hit a like something to let people know that this is around. And I think the more of us that can practice together, the better off things are going to be. So bring your family and your friends, your critters with you. We'll do this together. So anyway, thanks everybody for showing up again. And God willing, universe willing, and goddess willing, we'll be here next time. So thank you team, and blessings.